Cheers, COD family! It's your princess! The most loved player of Call of Dragons, Wahid, left Echo and joined EIS. In my interview with Wahid, she will share her reasons for her decision and her plans for the future. Stay tuned! Welcome to my new video, and if you enjoy my content, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification, then you won't miss out when I will share a new video or will go live. Today is a special day. I have big news. The most loved player in the Call of Dragons community voted earlier, finally came back to the game, and it was super interesting because she joined EIS, and I'm the happiest to have this beautiful girl joining us here. And yeah, today she agreed that she will go to an interview with me and she will share her reasons why she left Echo, what was her decision to come to EIS. And I say a warmly lovely welcome to Wahid. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
Thanks for having you. It's a pleasure here. So we are talking today a little bit because the whole community is super interested. What happened? And I think we can start for the beginning a little bit. If you can maybe describe a little bit your Call of Dragons journey. I know from you that you have been already in a lot of different big alliances. So I'm super excited what you have to share from your journey here.
Yeah. So I started with BXS. I've actually played with a lot of those guys for 10 years. So they were the ones who got me into the game. So I decided to go join them. I was there for a while. I eventually became R5. From there, I ended up leaving to go join Jason's alliance, which merged to another alliance and became TFS. I was at TFS for quite a while. And then I ended up going with Sod over to Echo and helping him kind of, garner support and go over there. So that was really fun. And funny enough, at that time was actually when I was going to go to EIS. So poor Dark, because I told him, I said, I'm gonna go to EIS. I'm going there, and then Saad decided to start this new project, and I really wanted to support him, so I ended up going there instead. But all things end up how they should, and now I'm in EIS, so it's really exciting.
And we are so happy to have you here in the EIS. I mean, everyone was super excited. I showed a little bit your gallery of cute new pictures on your account. And
Oh,
I think you added them all new, right?
I did. I added them today, so
Everything is new here. I just showed it. I think we all know that you are kind of, and we look also a little bit in your account infos. I think when did you left the game to play it full on your account? Was it 2 seasons ago or something?
yeah, I think it was about 2 seasons. I had left when Echo was fighting EIS about mid-season there.
So I think when we just look at that, at what is also a big number, when I see here total resources assistance giving, look at these numbers. You were a generous person and much a team player. When I look at that number, that is 30 billion resources. Assistance given to team members. I mean, that says a lot about you. I mean, very supportive team player. That is really cool.
Oh, thank you so much. That's really sweet of you to say. I just love being able to help my teammates, especially those players who are, in that at this point in the game at that 150 million power, because they're really the ones that can make or break a fight. People always think, oh, if we have the most whales, we're going to win. I see it as the opposite in that, yes, you need your whales, but it really comes down to those 150 mil players, their stamina, their ability to stay on the field and to kind of bring those numbers. So I really like to help that group. For them, they're not big spenders, so they really need the assistance. And they come and they bring that fight and they bring that heart. And how could you not want to help them?
I can totally understand, and I think that is super generous from you, and that is really the persons who help the free to play, the lower spenders, and they can heal more and they can be more on the field. So I think that's super generous from you and super lovely from you. So when we look at this, our current KVK, we are against Echo, and Echo was the alliance, I think. Let me look here. Are they all here in that? They are probably here in different shells right now. But we are enemies with Echo in that KVK here again. So the big question is, you left Echo, I think, really at the beginning when the KVK started. So what was the reason after you kind of really did a lot of work here building up Echo again with Sod when they separated from TFS and everything? So what was the reason for you why you left Echo?
Yeah, it's really comes down to a difference of opinion. This is going to sound very small in the grand scheme of things, but to me it was a big deal. They had a Discord chat, as all alliances do, and I had a guest role because they had done some changing of it while I was gone. And so when I came back, I wanted to go back in the Discord and have a member role because my account was still there. 250 mil account was sitting in that alliance. I'd come from day one to that alliance and I'd come to support Sod. And so when I'd asked Sod, he basically said, no, you can't come back into our Discord. So that in itself, I said, well, if I'm a guest in this Discord and you see me as a guest, then my account's going to be a guest. So I pulled out the account, and then I kind of ran into that, where do I go next from here, which really came down to MFD or EIS. And then I ended up here, which was, I think, the best decision I could have made. But yeah, it was hard. I mean, it hurt me a lot as someone who kind of cared so much for that alliance and all the people in that alliance. But these things happen. There's a difference of opinion there on what defined a member.
I mean, I can totally understand that, and I mean, what was the reaction after you told them that you will leave with your account from Echo?
He said, "It's your account. Do whatever you want."
But I think it was also from what you told. I mean, you were really I know that from the beginning you were there to be helping build up Echo. So would you say it is still the Echo you built up with, or do you think there were some changes and inside Echo as well? What kind of lead you to that decision?
Yeah, when I had left the game, I wasn't very happy with some of the ways that things were going in terms of I felt that things were getting too toxic when we were fighting against EIS. And I was losing interest in the game at the same time. So, my thing was, why do I really want to be here when every time I log in, it's just this negative stuff? And, I'm not going to say that EIS were angels either. There's still people doing stuff there, but the stuff coming out of Echo became very personal, and I don't like the personal tax. That's just one thing that I hate, and I'll always, kind of go against that, regardless of if someone's in my alliance or not. And of course, I brought that to leadership, and there didn't seem to be much of a change, so I ended up leaving.
Yeah, I mean, I think in that point we are very similar. We are playing the game for the right purposes and have kind of the same mindset about these things. I mean, it is totally okay getting out, having some bantering when you fight each other. It's totally fine and that's normal. You kind of need that as well for a motivation. Yeah, that everyone is really hyped for KVKs fighting each other. But I think at some point you need to see where it goes to a next level. And I think every alliance has some of these yappers called or however you want to say that.
Yeah.
You can't really run away, but I think so. Everyone has also to make a own decision where we want to be, because it is a much of time we spend in that game and we spend money in that game and everything. So you want to be at the place, and that leads me a little bit to the next question. Why did you choose EIS? Or how did that all came that you joined EIS? Maybe a little bit more background history.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that I had told Dark I was going to join EIS 3 times in the past for various reasons. When I was in TIF, when I was in TFS. twice I basically said, I'm coming to EIS, and then he gets all excited. He's like, oh, this is going to be great. And then for one reason, well, the first time I decided to stay in TFS. So I said, oh, sorry, I'm actually going to stay. And then the second time was when Jason, he actually kicked me from TFS. It became a huge drama. But when that happened, I said, okay, I'm going to join EIS. So I make all those plans, do all that, and then Sod comes to me and he says, I want to create this new alliance. I'm done with Jason. Let's create Echo. This is going to be my baby. And he did an amazing job, putting everything together and building it. And I wanted to be, a part of that. I wanted to be able to support him in, my own little way. So being able to do that was very important to me. But then, I had really wanted to join EIS. Dark and I have constantly fought in separate alliances, and I wanted to play with him, which I think is understandable. So I kind of got to that point now where it was, Quokka had offered for me to come to MFD, and then Dark had, offered me to come to EIS, and I was really stuck. And I will say the funniest thing, or not funniest, but the kindest thing, and kind of what really pushed the needle now, is that the last time I had planned to go to EIS, and then I told Dark, I said, hey, you know what, I have to pull out again because Sod's creating this project, and I really want to support him. He's one of my best friends. And all Dark said was, as long as you're away from Jason, I'm happy for you and I'll support you. To me, that was a huge deal because that was putting me ahead of the game. And, for an R5 to do that and to back away from kind of taking one of like the top players was really cool. And that kind of is what got me to that point of now making that decision where I want to be and realizing I want to be there.
Yeah, and I mean we are the most happy. Everyone, it came for us all so surprising that it's already, because I mean the KVK already started, and all that things happened, and from one day to another, Wahid was there and Jack sent a welcome message. Now we have a new member, and even if you can't participate at KVK right now because that is just the rules from Call of Dragons, I can only say Wahid is already, she's bringing her positive vibes in Discord. She's talking, she's joining voice chats. She's supporting and helping the alliance already. She was, I mean, I can say that she was helping out with resources to players who are big fighters in EIS, that they can resource heal more. That was super generous from her. And but maybe a question to you, because I remember when I joined EIS, everyone was asking me, I think the same questions you get right now, because they say, yeah, where are you joining EIS? They are so toxic. And I mean, in the meantime, I'm playing my 5th season in EIS, and I'm used on that we are dead, that EIS is disbanding, EIS is toxic, EIS is this. But it is always, what I say is, it is different if you play in an alliance and if you know the leadership and if you, yeah, part of the team, or if you just see it from the outside, what others kind of, yeah, tell about. So, from your real experience now that you are a few days in EIS, maybe you can tell a little bit the community. How are your first days in EIS? How do you feel? And give us a little bit the insights of how it is to be new in EIS.
Well, I absolutely love it. I mean, everyone here has been so welcoming and everyone's been so fun, I mean, it's there's that fighter mentality, but it's not kind of that raunchy, like toxic, like I think group that maybe it's portrayed to be. Everyone's very supportive and kind. And, there was a situation the other day with a member who was kind of taking banter a little too far. Dark immediately addressed it. I mean, it's just it's not this toxic alliance that people think. And I think that sometimes, Dark is dark and he'll always be dark. I mean, he likes to troll. He enjoys that. He likes getting people all worked up. And I think that sometimes people see that and they think that that's his actual personality, when in fact, that's kind of the act. That's what he enjoys doing. It's just him being a troll. It has nothing to do with his leadership. It has nothing to do with how he approaches different things. I think he's a very fair person, and I think that he's a very smart leader. And I mean, you have a leader, which this is very rare to have a leader since season one who still has his same alliance. And, I mean, I think that's really cool.
I totally agree. I mean, And that is also the facts you only know when you are, inside EIS and you get all the voice chats beside. The Dark sometimes enjoy that. I think it was at the beginning of the season when he over and over again repeated the same in a general Discord, and he just.
God, that was terrible. And you know what? He was doing it in my DMs too, just to annoy me.
I mean, I think someone even made a meme out of it because he was every hour and then he said, "Oh, it's time again to send my message." But he's doing that more in kind of humor. And but I can totally say that. I mean, Dark is really a leader. He's since season one there. He's always there when there's war. He's not letting the team down. And I feel like you can see that in future wars. I think the biggest advantage he also brings with him is that he get not frustrated. So if something happens bad, for sure he's not happy about it, but he directly thinks in solutions. What is the next step? What we can do? And not he's not there whining about bad stuff. He's always looking, okay, and what can we do next? And even if, I mean, I can say that when I look at a few seasons back, we had sometimes you have just matchups which are power-wise against you or anything. Even then, he said, okay, that is now the fact what we have. And now we go from there and we are doing our best job we can. And I think that is something, super special. And I can totally confirm. And we also have a lot of, I would say, fun VCs besides during the KVKs. I mean, Wahid, you joined last night. Maybe you want to give some insights there?
Yeah, it was super fun. I mean, everyone is just everyone's there to have a good time, and everyone's there to kind of have that positivity and kind of that family atmosphere, which is something that, I think that Echo was very much like that in the beginning. And I think that's why, I was so happy there and I loved it so much, is that it's just kind of, people who want to have fun together and people who want to fight. And, last night we were all in BC having a great time, just trolling each other and really enjoying the atmosphere. So I think that, I'm really excited for future stuff. And I know that, Dark always tells me about your guys' game nights and everything like that. So I'm excited to, kind of jump in.
Yeah, when it comes to the point and we play Among Us, then it gets really serious and we are slaughtering each other.
Oh, I remember because I would like DM Dark about something else and we'd be talking about something else. He's like, I'm playing Among Us right now. I'm like, okay. I
I
didn't
have
realize
to
how
focus.
serious it gets. He's like, no, this gets very serious.
It gets very, very serious who killed each other and who blame each other. But I mean, you got the point. I mean, and that is what a lot of people sometimes do forget in these games. We are here for the fun. We are here having a good time. And I think I don't care so much what others even think about us because that is their opinion and they can have that. But for me personally, I am the same like you. I'm here to have a good time, to enjoy, to laugh together, That is why we spend so much time on a game. And at the end of the day, for sure, we want to give a good performance. We want to have good fights. We want to have a lot of action. And I think we have a good mix over here. And I think you were such a great add-on. So maybe one last question for you. So what is your future plans here in Call of Dragons? I mean, I know you are kind of reduced definitely the time you are spending in Call of Dragons. But do you have any message from Wahid to the community about the game, about your future plans here? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to be back. Like you said, my time unfortunately is limited. I have a very high stress job that takes up a ton of time, but I am ready to get back into it, especially for wars. I'm ready to fight again. I'm excited to get to know everyone at EIS and kind of build those relationships and um, family for hopefully a very long time from now on.
Yeah, I think that is also the reason why I think it is sometimes good to join an alliance where you know they exist since a long time and they will also exist. First, it saves you the migration costs to pay it again. If any alliance or if any server is really disbanding, I mean, we had that with I think EDS. They just kind of disbanded. Everyone had to migrate out, and that is one thing. You don't want to pay the migration costs. But on the other hand, I'm totally with you. I like to build here relationship and getting friends and play together. And I don't want to change that so often. I had that in the G2s because I had really, I joined different alliances and the leadership was kind of semi. So it was
Yeah,
kind
and
of,
that's
I
the thing
had,
too.
yeah.
It's leadership. It makes such a huge difference. And, I mean, regardless of what people say of a number of alliances that are still out there, if you have a good leader and that person's still leader from season one, it just tells you something. I mean, that person is obviously well loved and that person's obviously their leadership style is well received. So I think that joining an alliance where, you have the same leader for, 10 seasons or what have you, I mean, that's a huge statement right there with how much this game changes to have that kind of stability in an alliance.
I mean, there's coming one more question in my mind. After, I mean, you
Yeah.
joined TFS, you joined Echo, and you joined EIS now with Dark. So these three leaders, Jason, Sod and Dark, I mean, they are both very, very known leaders in the game of Call of Dragons. These three personalities, how would you describe? Are they different from each other in leader
That
style?
is such a good question. I would say, and I'm going to totally remove all personal biases from this. And I'm just going to look at this as if I was a random member. I'm going to say that Jason is very good at keeping a fun atmosphere. You'll always have fun with Jason. He's very charismatic. Now, he's not a good leader. He's someone who lashes out very often, who likes to kind of take things that should be on him and push that to the fault of other people. So that's not a leadership that I enjoyed or wanted to be a part of. Now, Sod, on the other hand, is someone who is very level headed. He doesn't get angry. He doesn't kind of, lash out at anyone or anything like that. He keeps kind of his rationality to him. The problem, though, is that sometimes that rationality and that logic makes things very black and white for him. Like as we saw with the silly Discord issue, it's like you need to be able to step outside that black and white and say, "Hey, you know what? This is gray area." He's not good at that. Dark, I haven't been able to really experience his leadership yet, but just from knowing him on a personal level, he's someone who's very fair. He tends to approach things with a mindset of, this is how this person should be doing this. I'm not going to, give special treatment, but I'm also going to see that gray area. So I appreciate that a lot. And, I'm sure I'm going to have more to say as the seasons progress. I'm able to kind of experience that more, but kind of outside looking in that, or I guess inside looking out. Yeah, but with removing the personal biases, that's kind of how I see it.
Yes, thank you so much, and I think that is always good. I mean, we have sometimes then all our own personal experiences additional what I know you have as well. So, it is good you pointed out, and I think that is also. I have never, I think, and that is why I don't judge any leadership I haven't played in because you can't really say it 100%. I mean, if you have played against them, you can see a little bit how they act and whatever. And I can, for example, I know Jason and Sod just as an enemy on the field, but as persons, they were always respectful to me. So that is all what matters for me. But it was an interesting breakdown because I think they all have together. They are strong personalities in a different way, but they are strong personalities. Otherwise, they would not have been leaders of such big alliances, right?
That's absolutely correct.
So yeah, thank you so much for having you here. It was a
Thank you for
pleasure.
having me. This is so fun.
Yeah, maybe we have to make another interview at the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'll report back.
Yeah, and then you have a little bit more insights and see it, and then yeah, you see more fighting going on in our KVK and how is everything handled. And I think also the good leaders, you see how they are handling the bad situations. I mean, winning can everyone, and that pushes a team. But if you kind of losing a zone like we did right now, and now you have to adjust everything, motivate the team, and that are the critical situations. And if you can dismanage as a leader, that is high class, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And that's one thing that, I was able to be here during zone two, when Echo won and kind of see how that played out from a player's perspective when it comes to leadership. And leadership wasn't screaming at us, leadership wasn't yelling at us. Leadership very much took exactly like you said, that approach of where do we go from here? What's the solution? We're not going to beat everyone up. We're going to set expectations and we're going to find a new plan. And I think that that's really the makings of a great leader.
Absolutely, and we are looking forward to that KVK. And it is such a pleasure to have one more girl in EIS. I think we are the girls alliance in the game. We have so many
I
girls here.
agree. I love it so much. It's a total, different environment.
Yeah, and that is, but I think that is also a reason why here it is super balanced, because all the girls, they are just girls are just girls. They are just a little bit different, and the mix up here is really good. We have a lot of fun, and I had to learn a lot in EIS how to take things, and they are still teaching me the American sayings. We had it yesterday, and going on from that. And then I hopefully, Wahid, when you have some more experience here, we can meet again. It is so easy, and I like to have girls also sometimes in my interviews, because normally there are always a lot of male player out, a lot of male leaders and stuff like that. So thanks for having that nice girls chat with you here.
Oh, thank you so much. This has been, as I said, this was really fun. And, I look forward to playing with you and I look forward to spending more time getting to know you.
Thanks so much. And we can maybe also think about doing sometimes on live stream with a Q&A or everything. So guys, if you watch this video and you have any questions to Wahid, you can let me know in the comments below. What are your questions to her? She has, I think you have also a YouTube account, Wahid, right? So you could answer it by yourself, or I can ask you and then we can go through it. So if you have any open questions, feel free to ask her. I mean, she's super open and transparent, and I totally appreciate that.
Thank you.
So thanks for having you guys. Have a great time. Thanks for watching the video. Drop a like and share it with your friends if you enjoyed it. Till the next time, happy gaming and much love, your princess.